Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And welcome, without taking a breath, welcome to Thursday's edition of the dceu Daily. And as the MCU crumbles around its crazy, insane fans, and they're asking for Spider-Man to be saved, even though Sony's still going to be making the same movies with the same actors. Anyway, we don't care about them because the dceu is going from strength to strength. We've got 6 movies going into production in 2020, and one of those movies, it's official now, by the way, this is not a rumor, is the Flash movie. And in a recent interview, this is fantastic, by the way, Ezra Miller has confirmed that the Flash movie is one of his upcoming projects, including Fantastic Beasts 3, which we don't give a shit about, and some of his music as well, which we also don't give a shit about. Sorry, Ez, but it's all about the Flash for me. Very, very exciting. So a lot of people, again, with their agenda, oh yes, how many things within the DCEU have fallen flat, projects that haven't happened. It's different now. That was before Walter Hamada came in. Every project that Walter Hamada was greenlit is still happening, and the Flash movie is going to happen, right? Hodgson's script is going to happen, right? Basically, the It Chapter 2 director is definitely directing this movie. Look, it's very, very, very exciting, and to have Ezra Miller actually confirm that it's one of his upcoming projects. So when do I see the shooting for the Flash movie happening? I think originally they were hitting for a November shoot date. I think now you're looking at early 2020. Again, that's called 6 movies in development from DC Films. Absolutely brilliant. Not all DCEU, but I'm sure some of them, well, I don't know. Most of them are DCEU. The problem is we don't know. Because even though Matt Reeves last year said, of course, it's part of the DC kind of universe kind of thing, but he didn't say DCEU, not that they call it the DCEU. Anyway, we really don't know if the Batman is part of the DCEU, but either way, I'm excited. 6 movies from DC going into production next year. And, it's an interesting thing to look at. How will these films be released? I would assume 3 movies in 2021 and 3 movies in 2022. Surely they couldn't release 6 movies in 2021. That would be freaking nuts. But who knows? Very, very exciting times. I would assume that Black Adam would be a 2022 movie rather than a 2021 movie. But we really, really don't know. But the great thing is now we're going to at least have 2 DC movies every year, with the amount of films they're going into production with, as I say, 6 movies. Really, really exciting. And since Walter Hamada has come in, it's really, really all changed. And it's a stark contrast, isn't it? When I think back, and I want to talk about this because I think it's important. I remember the releases of Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, and the critical response and the kind of mocking we got, and the Rotten Tomatoes, and the Rotten Tomatoes ratings being rotten rather than fresh. I remember all of it. I remember the unhappy Affleck thing. It was really, I think we have to be honest back then, and we're a lot more, we're more kind of assertive now as fans, but back then we were few and far between, and we were being attacked left, right, and centre. And I remember Man of Steel. Now, the divisive reaction to Man of Steel was no way as negative and as bad as what we were going to get with Batman v Superman, because what we got with Batman v Superman is something I have never seen in connection of a television show and a film in my life. The hatred towards the movie, and it was real hatred everywhere you looked, and you think, is there a friend out there? I suppose it was like being a Jew in the Second World War and just looking for a friend to let you in and protect you, I suppose. It was a bit like that. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. The response to the film was illogical. It was an illogical response because, let me explain something to you. People hated Batman v Superman. People hated Man of Steel, not as much, but people hated those films because of what they wasn't. not because of what they were, because what they were is actually really, really good. I think, obviously, if you're a fan of the Injustice games, right, you're going to be a big fan of MOS and BVS. I think that's where they're from, and I think the fandom who loves those games loves those films, and it's obviously not for everyone. And I've said before that Warner Brothers should have come out and kind of hyped it up that we were getting an Injustice Superman, but they didn't do that, and people weren't prepared for what they were going to get. Nobody could have been prepared for Snyder's vision unless you prepare them. And if you prepare them as a company, then there's much more hype. Hey, we're doing Injustice Superman. Imagine the reaction. But going back to the response, especially to BVS, I've never seen anything quite like it in all my life. And it was a vitriol. It was a hatred. And being a fan of DC and being a fan of those films was very, very difficult. But I was a fan. On my old YouTube, which wasn't very successful, I did a really passionate video, which I've actually tried to port over to this account. I can't remember what that YouTube channel is called, but if you ever find it, it's something Batman v Superman. So if you ever see me standing in a room, just defending Batman v Superman, I think it was about a half-an-hour video, and it actually I think it's got more views than any of my videos on this channel. So even though I've got more subscribers on this channel, I get around 100 views. That's life. Building up these channels is a slow process, and I'm here for the ride, definitely. And it's an absolute pleasure to come to you guys every day and do the DCEU Daily. But I just thought you may appreciate going back and remembering what it was like as I'm really sorry about that. I was trying to avoid that sneeze, but it happened, and I apologise. Yes, so I just felt that we should go back and remember how it was. As low a point as Justice League was, and it was a low point. I think that the lowest point was Batman v Superman, and not as a film, because the film is excellent. It's a masterclass. It's a masterpiece, especially the extended edition, the Ultimate Edition. That's even better. To have a 3-hour film of that goodness is brilliant. But just to go back and remember the hatred, and people say, well, why would you want to go back and remember it? Well, I think it's important to remember where we started and where we are now. Hamada's come in, as I said, and he's sorting things out. Now, it may not be the universe we wanted under Zack, but I think it's still going to be a very, very interesting, exciting universe under Hamada. And maybe one day Zack Snyder can come back and not run the thing again and not bring his arc to full fruition and his vision to fruition, but maybe direct a couple of films and maybe write a couple of films. I think that's the best we can hope for. And, of course, the release of the Snyder Cut. But that's all for the future. But right now, let me remind you, the headlines today are that one of Ezra Miller's next upcoming projects is the Flash movie. And that's very, very, very exciting for all fans. And I just wish it was 2021 now so we could see this movie. And all singing and all dancing Flash movie is surely everything a DC fan has ever dreamed of. And if it wasn't for Ezra Miller, we wouldn't be getting that.